In this video, I want to compare the ROC mining experience to the Prospector mining experience and see how each method compare. We'll take a look at how complicated each method is and how much you can earn with each method. First, we're going to take a look at the startup cost. We're going to take a look at how much you need to actually start with mining for each method. For the ROC, you're going to need about 1 million Alpha USC to get started, but you might be able to rent the ROC and a Cutlass Black, so it will be a lot cheaper. But in this case, we are going to go with the ROC and a Nomad, since it is the cheapest way to start mining with a ROC. For a Prospector, on the other hand, you will need about 2 million just to buy the ship, but you will also need to buy the laser and the sub-components. Sure, you can rent a Prospector, but you won't be able to switch out the laser, so it's not recommended. In this experiment, I wanted to mine the most valuable resources, so for the ROC, I decided to mine Hedonite on Aberdeen, and for the Prospector, I decided to mine Quantanium. All of these minables are the most valuable resources that you can mine with each method. While I was out mining ore with the ROC, I noticed that you have to ping a lot more compared to the Prospector. Because the ore is so small, you're going to have to ping a lot more while flying with your ship looking for ROC minables. Whereas the Prospector, you just need to ping a couple of times and go inspect the location of the rocks. So ROC mining is definitely more labor intensive compared to Prospector mining, since you need to scan a lot more. ROC mining was also a lot more involved compared to the Prospector, because if you go ROC mining, you need to find a good spot to land your ship so that the ramp can be level with the ground so that you can drive out your ROC. Then you need to get out of your ship into your ROC, and all of this adds up to taking a lot more time compared to the Prospector, where you can just find a ROC and start mining immediately. It took me about 2 hours to fill up one ROC and only 1 hour to fill up one Prospector. This might be because I'm a bad ROC miner, or it can just be that all those extra steps will add up eventually and it will waste a lot of your time compared to Prospector mining. The Prospector also has a lot less extra steps, meaning that it's a little bit safer to mine with the Prospector, because with more steps means you can encounter more bugs. So with the Prospector, you usually won't get as frustrated as with ROC mining, since you won't run into as many bugs with the Prospector. ROC mining is definitely easier to get started with, since you don't need to think about a build for your Prospector. You can just take your ROC and your ship, fly out to a planet and go mine. Whereas with the Prospector, you need some setup time, you need to go buy the components and the laser, and then you need to build it up so that you can have an efficient mining setup. So the Prospector is definitely not noob friendly, whereas if you start with the ROC, it's a bit more friendlier to newcomers in the game. With Prospector mining, you're also going to have to learn how to refine, whereas with ROC mining, you can just go mine the ore and then you can go sell that ore at any platinum bay. Refining will yield you a lot more credits, so it's definitely worth it to dive into it, but ROC mining will be a little bit easier to start off with and make your profits immediately. For one full ROC of Hedonite, you'll earn about 200k, whereas if you go mine Quantanium with the Prospector and sell it raw, you'll earn about 140k. But if you decide to refine that Quantanium, you'll earn about 400k, which is a lot more than the ROC because you can refine it, making Prospector mining a lot more profitable. And I think this is how it should be, since Prospector mining takes a lot more skill and time to learn, since you need to learn how to build yourself a a solid build, and then you're going to have to learn how to actually refine the ore and then transport it to a location to actually sell. So what do you prefer? Do you prefer rock mining or prospector mining? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.